Families that built empires in oil, banking, telecoms, and property, then quietly stitched themselves into the country's economic backbone. Today, we're lifting the curtain on Nigeria's richest families, the dynasties that shape markets, politics, and culture without ever needing the spotlight. Let's get into it. 10. The Saraki Family. If Nigerian political dynasties had a blueprint, the Saraki name would be a headline chapter. The family's rise didn't just start in today's world. It began with Dr. Abubakar Olusola Saraki, a medical doctor who began dabbling in politics. This political journey stretched his reach from Ilorin to Abuja. He used the platform he earned to build a reputation as a master broker, and by the 1990s, he was the man who could make or break careers across Kwara State. Olusola's powerful influence passed over to his children, and none shone larger than Bukola Saraki, trained as a doctor in London. But just like his father, Bukola traded medicine for politics and went on to become governor of Kwara State and later president of the Nigerian Senate. His sister, Gbemisola Saraki, also went on to become a senator and federal minister. Toyin Ojora Saraki, Bukola's wife, turned the family name toward global philanthropy and health advocacy. Her well-being foundation, Africa and other initiatives recast part of the family's public identity. Their names are on roads, institutions, and in the memory of voters. Their offices opened doors to business deals, appointments, and contracts that flowed to trusted allies. Over decades, the Sarakis accumulated real estate, agricultural holdings, and stakeholdings in local enterprises, and they layered that economic base with political patronage. The Sarakis are known for their mix of power and quiet influence. Their wealth and influence grant them the power to shape the country's decisions behind the scenes. Their wealth comes from investments built over decades, and their family name still holds weight in both politics and business circles. In Ilorin, their hometown, the Saraki name means loyalty and legacy. Many locals still see them as the family that provides jobs, scholarships, and community support. The Sarakis understand influence in a way few families do. They've learned how to stay relevant through changing governments and shifting alliances. Whether through politics or private business, their reach continues to grow. The Saraki family proves that in Nigeria, true power isn't just about holding office. It's about building a name that keeps opening doors, generation after generation. 9. The Danjuma Family. And next is the Danjuma Family, a family that moved from the barracks to boardrooms and never looked back. At the center of it all is General Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma, a man whose story stretches from the military ranks to the heights of business and philanthropy. Born in Takum, Taraba State, Danjuma's rise began with his service in the Nigerian army, where he built a career and a network that would later anchor his business empire. After his military years, he founded South Atlantic Petroleum, one of Nigeria's most successful indigenous oil exploration companies. That single move turned him into one of the wealthiest men in Africa. But the Danjuma family didn't stop there. Over time, they expanded into real estate, shipping, telecommunications, and finance, quietly creating one of the country's most diverse portfolios. Their homes in Abuja and Lagos City are the kind of homes that could easily pass for five-star resorts. Expansive estates with imported Italian finishes, custom art, and private elevators. The family's garage reportedly houses some of the world's most exclusive cars, from Rolls-Royce Phantoms to Bentleys and Range Rovers. Their movements are often marked by long convoys and private jets, a true reflection of their high status. General Danjuma's wife, Senator Daisy Danjuma, is a force on her own. A former lawmaker and businesswoman, she's often seen at high society events in Europe and Lagos, always dressed to perfection. Together, they've mastered the art of blending wealth with influence by using philanthropy through the Danjuma Foundation to keep their public image polished while staying deeply connected to Nigeria's elite circles. But here's the part most people don't see. Much of their real power comes from relationships. Danjuma's military and political past gave the family access to senior officials, business contracts, and investment chances that are hard for outsiders to reach. The family office quietly steers capital, buys stakes, and protects assets, so their influence often works behind the scenes rather than in headlines. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 99% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. 8. The Elumelu Family. Next is the Elumelu Family, a name that stands for wealth, vision, and influence across Africa. Led by Tony Elumelu, the billionaire banker and founder of Heirs Holdings, the family's fortune reaches far beyond Nigeria's borders. Tony made his name in banking when he transformed the struggling Standard Trust Bank into one of the country's biggest financial institutions, later merging it with United Bank for Africa, popularly known by the initials UBA. Today, UBA operates in over 20 African countries, serving millions and generating billions in revenue. On the other hand, Tony's wife, Dr. Awele Elumelu, is a respected medical doctor and philanthropist who runs the Avon Medical Practice and plays a key role in the Tony Elumelu Foundation, one of Africa's largest entrepreneurship programs. Together, they've funded over 18,000 African startups and built a reputation as champions of economic empowerment. His brother, Ndudi Elumelu, is a well-known politician who has served in Nigeria's House of Representatives and chairs key economic committees. Ndudi's role in politics complements Tony's role in business, giving the family both corporate and legislative reach. This is a rare combination that quietly strengthens their influence in national affairs. The younger generation is also stepping up. Tony and Awele's daughters, Oge, Ogor, and Onyinye, have studied at top global universities and are gradually joining the family's philanthropic and entrepreneurial efforts. You'll often see them at foundation events or representing the Elumelu name in youth-driven forums, signaling a new chapter in the family legacy. The family's lifestyle certainly mirrors their success, as they live in a Lagos mansion estimated to be worth several $1 million, own properties in London, and often travel by private jet. Their appearances at high-level global events, from Davos to the UN, reinforce their image as one of Nigeria's most connected families. Between Tony's investments in banking, energy and hospitality, and Awele's healthcare ventures, the Elumelus have built a modern dynasty that balances business with philanthropy. Their net worth, collectively, runs into hundreds of millions of dollars, and their influence stretches from Wall Street to small African startups. The Danjuma family built their wealth through oil and politics, while the next family mastered luxury and business, turning faith and fashion into fortune. 7. The Alakija Family. The Alakija family represents one of Nigeria's most recognized symbols of wealth, faith, and generational success. At the center of it all is Folorunsho Alakija, a woman whose story defines what it means to rise from humble beginnings to global recognition. Born in Ikorodu, Lagos, Folorunsho started her career as a secretary at Siyuade Enterprises before traveling to London to study fashion design at the American College and the Central School of Fashion. On her return, she launched Supreme Stitches, a fashion brand that quickly became a household name among Nigeria's elite women. Her designs attracted the upper class, including the First Lady at the time, which placed her in circles of serious influence. But Folorunsho wasn't satisfied with success in fashion alone. She expanded into oil, securing an oil exploration license in the early 1990s that would later become Famfa Oil Limited. When oil was discovered in the company's OML 127 block, her wealth skyrocketed. Today, that same investment stands as one of the most valuable privately owned oil assets in Nigeria. Her family is deeply involved in her empire. Her husband, Modupe Alakija, is a respected lawyer and businessman, while her sons sit on the boards of her various ventures. Together, they've built a dynasty that blends business, faith, and philanthropy. The family's charitable arm, the Rose of Sharon Foundation, supports widows and orphans through education, housing, and small business funding. Her son, Folorunsho Alakija, a businessman and film producer, studied architecture and construction management in the UK, then went on to found Coutts Ventures. In 2017, Folorunsho made international headlines when he married Nazanin Jafarian, an Iranian model and actress, in one of the most luxurious weddings ever held in London. The ceremony took place at Blenheim Palace and reportedly cost millions of dollars, featuring flowers flown in from Paris and performances by top global artists. Their lifestyle reflects their massive success, and it includes luxury homes in Lagos and London, private jets, and a collection of rare cars. Yet, Folorunsho often emphasizes faith over fame, frequently speaking at Christian gatherings about discipline, hard work, and purpose. With an estimated net worth running into billions, the Alakijas remain one of the wealthiest and most admired families in Nigeria. 6. The Ibru Family. Next is the Ibru Family, a name that quietly grew into one of Nigeria's biggest business dynasties. It all started with Michael Ibru, a man who began trading frozen fish in the late 1950s and, step by step, built what is now called the Ibru Organization. He turned a small trade into a conglomerate that spans shipping, fisheries, hotels, real estate, agriculture, oil services, and more. Today, the Ibru Organization sits behind big pieces of Nigerian commerce. They own fishing fleets, shipping lines, hotel interests, and farming businesses. In the 1980s and 1990s, the group expanded exponentially, hiring thousands and moving into new industries across West Africa. That breadth is why their name is attached to whole sectors, not just a single company. Members of the family are everywhere in public life. Alex Ibru founded The Guardian newspaper and later served in government. Goody Ibru ran hotel and stock exchange businesses. Felix Ibru became governor of Delta State. Oscar Ibru ran core parts of the family business after Michael. Elvina Ibru is a known actress and media personality. Those roles give the family reach in media, politics, hospitality, and commerce. Their wealth shows in luxury properties and business assets. The family has major hotel holdings, port and shipping interests, and large land and farming estates. They travel in private arrangements, keep upscale homes in major cities, and run family offices that manage investments at home and abroad. Not everything has been smooth. Cecilia Ibru, who led Oceanic Bank, was convicted in a high-profile fraud case, a public scandal that the family weathered and that cost reputation as well as resources. Still, the Ibrus rebuilt and kept control of core businesses. What makes the Ibrus powerful is how they mix business and influence. They create jobs, own key infrastructure, and place family members in media and politics. That combination lets them shape markets and local politics quietly. 5. The Otedola Family. Next is the Otedola family, a name that represents wealth, legacy, and generational power in Nigeria. The story starts with Femi Otedola, one of the country's most influential businessmen and the former chairman of Forte Oil. But behind the headlines of billion-dollar deals and oil ventures lies a family that has mastered the art of turning fame and fortune into a lifestyle brand. Femi Otedola began his journey in the energy sector, expanding from diesel supply into power generation and finance. His company investments, including Geregu Power, made him one of the first Nigerians to transition from oil wealth into large-scale energy infrastructure. But the Otedola's influence doesn't stop at business. It flows through media, entertainment, and fashion, thanks to his children. His daughter, Florence Otedola, famously known as DJ Cuppy, turned her privilege into pop culture relevance. She built her own identity as a global DJ, philanthropist, and influencer, performing across major cities like London and Dubai, often arriving in a pink Rolls-Royce or private jet. Her social media presence keeps the Otedola name at the center of luxury culture. Temi Otedola, the family's fashion icon, dominates the style and film space. She starred in Netflix's Citation and runs one of Nigeria's top fashion and lifestyle platforms, often featured in designer collaborations and red carpet events from Paris to Lagos. The youngest, Fewa Otedola, lives more privately, with the family deeply protective of his personal life. Their mother, Nana Otedola, is known for her grace and quiet strength. She's often described as the pillar of the Otedola household, managing both family and philanthropic commitments. Together, they maintain homes in London, Lagos, and Dubai, with a fleet of exotic cars and luxury yachts that regularly make headlines. The Otedolas are household names who have turned wealth into a brand of aspiration, proving that in Nigeria, few names carry the weight, style, and staying power of the Otedola family. 4. The Tinubu Family. Next is the Tinubu family, one of the most powerful and talked about families in Nigeria. Their name carries both political and financial weight, with influence stretching from Lagos to Abuja and even beyond the country's borders. At the center is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A man whose rise from accountant to the nation's most strategic political figure shaped decades of leadership in the country. But the Tinubu empire isn't built on politics alone. It's a mix of generational wealth, real estate, and quiet business holdings spread across industries. Their properties are said to include luxury mansions in Lagos, Abuja, and London, each guarded by convoys of bulletproof SUVs and private security. Within the family, wealth flows through connections, investments, and elite networks that keep them at the heart of Nigeria's power structure. His wife, Senator Olusola Tinubu, has her own legacy. A former First Lady of Lagos State and now Nigeria's First Lady, she's known for her philanthropic work through the New Era Foundation, which focuses on youth development and education. Despite her gentle public image, Olusola is regarded as one of the sharpest political minds within the ruling class, always balancing grace with quiet authority. Their children are just as influential. Seyi Tinubu, one of the best known, is a businessman and media executive who co-founded Loatsad Promo Media, one of Nigeria's largest digital advertising companies. His lavish lifestyle, luxury travels, and high-end car collection often make headlines, portraying the younger Tinubu generation as both privileged and enterprising. The Tinubus move like a dynasty, with the confidence of a family that has blended money, politics, and power into a single brand. Their presence at state events, charity galas, and private celebrations always draws attention, not just for their influence, but for the aura of wealth that surrounds them. The Tinubu family represents the perfect blend of old political roots and modern financial strength. They'll forever be known as an empire built on loyalty, timing, and unshakable ambition. 3. The Rabiu Family. Next is the Rabiu family, a name that echoes across Nigeria's business world. At the head of this family is Abdul Samad Rabiu, founder of BUA Group, one of Africa's largest industrial empires, spanning cement, sugar, real estate, and ports. What started as a small trading venture decades ago has evolved into a powerhouse that competes directly with Dangote's empire, cement for cement, refinery for refinery. The Rabiu fortune runs deep. Their wealth isn't loud, but it's immense, built on smart investments and quiet expansion across Africa. The family owns sprawling estates in Lagos, Abuja, and Kano, often described as fortresses of marble and glass. Convoys of black SUVs, private jets, and access to the highest circles of power have become part of their daily reality. Abdul Samad himself is known for his calm demeanor and low public profile, yet his influence is undeniable. His businesses employ thousands, his philanthropy runs through the ASR Africa initiative, and his net worth places him among Africa's richest men. His children are being groomed to carry the legacy forward. They're educated in elite schools abroad, often spotted at international business conferences or charity events, quietly stepping into leadership roles within the BUA group. Unlike many wealthy heirs who flaunt luxury online, The Rabiu kids move with controlled confidence, blending modern taste with traditional values. The Rabiu family's brand of wealth is refined and measured in silent power, clean suits, and billion-dollar deals sealed behind closed doors. They don't chase fame, but their name alone commands respect in boardrooms across the continent. 2. The Adenuga Family. Next is the Adenuga Family, a dynasty built on telecom, oil, and a quiet kind of showmanship that only the very rich can afford. Chief Mike Adenuga made his name founding Globacom and building stakes in oil through Conoil. Today he ranks among Africa's richest people, with Forbes estimating his net worth in the billions. Their wealth is visible in a few unmistakable ways. The family owns several luxury properties, including a well-known residence on Banana Island and other estates in Lagos and abroad. They travel by private jet, move in convoys, and keep a fleet of high-end cars, Range Rovers, Mercedes G-Wagons, Bentleys, and other luxury models have been linked to the household. Those details are part of the Adenuga signature: quiet life, very loud assets. But the story isn't only about Chief Mike. His children are stepping into top roles across the family businesses. Beladisu is the most public example. He's long been an executive at Globacom, runs Cobblestone Properties and Estates, and sits on major corporate boards. Bella also led the Mike Adenuga Center project and now fronts philanthropy and female leadership programs tied to the family name. Other daughters and relatives hold senior positions or run family ventures in construction, energy, and real estate. Recent coverage highlights a deliberate succession plan as younger family members are taking operational control of key assets, while Mike Adenuga focuses on big-picture investments and legacy philanthropy. Philanthropy and culture are part of the package too. The Adenugas fund arts and education initiatives, and the family donated to high-profile projects that link them to international partners. And speaking of influence, the next name turned a trading stall into an industrial empire that now shapes whole markets across Africa. 1. The Dangote Family. Finally, we arrive at the very top of the wealth chain when it comes to Nigeria. The name Dangote can be said to be synonymous with wealth in the country. Aliko Dangote started small by trading sugar and rice and turned that grit into the Dangote Group, the largest conglomerate in Africa. It dominates cement, sugar, flour, and now oil refining. His businesses employ thousands and sell to millions across the continent. The family's wealth is industrial and strategic. Dangote Cement, which is the crown jewel, is one of the largest cement producers in Africa. The refinery at Lekki is another game-changer, a multi-billion-dollar project intended to cut Nigeria's fuel imports and make the group globally important in oil processing. Those two assets alone explain why Aliko has sat for years among the world's richest people. Their lifestyle matches the scale of their money. The Dangotes move between mansions in Lagos and Abuja, fly on private jets, and travel with tight security. Reports and profiles describe spacious estates, luxury cars, and the kind of convoys that clear roads when they arrive. For a family that built wealth from industry, these visible signs of success are everywhere. Aliko's children, Fatima, Halima, Maria, and his adopted son Abdulrahman, are educated abroad and increasingly involved in the business and social parts of the empire. Fatima, for example, is visible at public events and helps with family philanthropy. Other children keep lower profiles while learning the ropes in finance, strategy, and corporate leadership. The next generation is being groomed to run plants, manage shipping, and steward investments worldwide. Philanthropy is part of their public face. The Aliko Dangote Foundation funds health, education, and social programs across Africa, from polio eradication partnerships to emergency relief. The foundation smooths the family's reputation and extends its influence into government and civil society. Dangote has poured money into many businesses and even chased sports dreams. Alongside factories, cement mills, and refineries, he's backed smaller investments and startups across Nigeria. At one point, he publicly expressed interest in buying Arsenal, though he later said the refinery project took priority and later focused on Africa-wide projects too. But where there's scale, there's scrutiny. The Dangotes are frequently in the headlines for business deals, regulatory fights, and the politics that swirl around big projects. Still, it remains a fact that they've built infrastructure, created jobs, and launched projects that move entire economies. Love them or resent them, the Dangote name shapes daily life for millions across Africa. That's influence you can measure. That's the story of Nigeria's richest family, but believe me, it's just the surface. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because in our next episode, we uncover the hidden networks that keep this kind of money flowing.